welcome to my studio. Today we're working on our little Christmas tree, and if you need a decoration, maybe you need one at the office, maybe you live in a smaller home, maybe you want to give one as a gift, and you just don't need a big tree, but you want to make that little tree something extra special, we're going to show you how to decorate it. You can find the little trees in all kinds of different places. I happened to find the cheapest one this year at my grocery store. And a lot of times they'll put them on special. So even watch when things go to clearance, you may be able to get one even a little bit cheaper. I'm going to start today by putting lights on. And I'm going to try 50 Christmas lights on this little guy. I've tried 25 before on a smaller tree, and it just wasn't enough of the light. So I'm going to try 50. And first thing we always do, even if they're brand new, plug them in and make sure they work. And then we're going to want to make sure that we put the male on the bottom and the female up on top. We might want to hide that in, or if we're going to plug in anything, then make sure that you can get to that. And I'm going to start by putting these on with pipe cleaners. So let's test them and get started. So I've kind of just laid them on the tree to make sure that I'm going to have more than enough. And then once I'm sure of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my green pipe cleaners, and I'm going to tie my wire down in certain places. And the reason is over time they kind of fall out and go different places, and this will stay on your tree and you don't have to worry about that. But I kind of wanted to know how it would all fit. And now I'm just kind of picking where I think the back should be. So I'm going to simply just wrap that around. And you could do that out a little bit further if you wanted to. But that way your lights are going to stay in place. We're not going to do every one. We're just going to do it kind of to tack it down here and there. So however you feel that you want to put yours on, you may not even want them on that way, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of my lights on my tree. So I'm to the top, and I know that I'm not going to use a plug-in. I'm probably going to do a bow or some twisty things or stuff like that. So I want to kind of hide that cord. So I'm going to tuck it back in, and we'll probably bend that guy back down too. So we're going to try and kind of hide all that, and I'm probably going to tie that guy down right about there. Another thing, so that those don't get seen, is to remove the white off of them. That is huge. Be careful when you're cutting near any wires, but if you can remove that off, that keeps it from showing up, and that makes that a lot less visual. And we can hide that with an ornament or anything like that. So get that done, and we'll start on the fun stuff. So to give our tree that whimsical feel, I'm going to add mesh tubing to it, and I really just think it kind of gives it that real whimsical. I always think of The Grinch. That was my favorite Christmas movie, so that's kind of the feel I'm going for. I bought my mesh in a packet with the Christmas colors. And if you buy them after Christmas especially, you can get them on clearance for next to nothing. But also some of the dollar stores have been starting to carry mesh. This year Dollar Tree had mesh. And so if you got, I would get 3 colors. I know they had the gold as well. So that's something to think about. But you could pick it up at any of your craft stores, and they always put that kind of stuff on sale. So I'm going to make these 3 inches apart, or long I should say. So we're going to do 3 inches, and I'm going to do 2 of them. So I'm going to have a 6 in total. And you also can use the paper cutter if that is faster for you, but when you're measuring these, don't pull these out because these are really, really stretchy. And then once I get my 6, I'm going to just put them all together, trying to keep the same colors from same, but they're going to end up being similar anyway, so don't worry about it too much. And I'm going to put these on my branches of my tree. When I'm going around, I'm probably going to do like every other one or every third one. So that's something, just as many as you think you should put on. I'm not going to do every single branch though. And I'm going to put them kind of close to the ends. Kind of see that where that it lines up with the end. That's kind of how I would want to do that. So let's get those all put on. And I'm putting on with pipe cleaners. Again, I'm just using the green because that kind of matches my tree. And I'm going to put those all the way up the tree. So I've put that all on our Christmas tree here and there, and I think I have that spaced pretty well evenly, and that already has a great Christmas feel, and if that's all you wanted to do, there's nothing wrong with that. The one thing I did is I was putting them on top. When I got to these right here, I put them on the back side, not on top, because those are going up towards the top. So that's the one thing I did do different. I also wanted to tell you that if you needed some plug-in lights and you didn't have, or needed battery operated ones, we do have the fairy lights at miriamjoy.com. These are really, really bright and they last a long time. They work off of 3 AA batteries, so that's something to think about if you need something like that. So I still like this whimsical feel, and these are little decorative fillers, and they've come out with these the last couple of years, and they've really come down in price. And I am just going to glue these on to my tree here and there, and excuse the cord dropping here. And I'm just going to put them right directly on top of my mesh. And I'm probably going to do red, white, some silver, and different guys like that. But I think it just adds to that. I've also recently seen these at the dollar stores, but these are another great item to get when they go on clearance. So get those glued on. We'll keep on moving on. So I've glued all of the little balls on and everything, and some of them I even did 2 on them. And I started putting some little Christmas bulbs that I found at the thrift store. Don't be afraid to look at the thrift store. A lot of times you can get ornaments that are in new condition for nothing. So that's something to really look at and check out. And another thing is, if you had purchased some of the fillers, you could even stick a Christmas ornament hanger into these, hot glue it or glue it on with E6000 and hang these all over your tree, and then you wouldn't have to purchase anything. But you could purchase some of the little tiny balls or find those. There's a lot of things that you could find. I found these really cool reed. I'm sure these are homemade. I found these at the thrift store, and I'm going to put these on here. I love these. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, once that's on there, I'm going to wrap it around that hanger one more time, so that when I go to store it, I'm going to put it in a trash bag and it's not going to come off. But look how beautiful those little guys make that tree look. So just add your own special touch, or maybe you have some ornaments that you have been waiting to put on something special. I'm working on this base now, and I'm leaving that, but you could put any ribbon or anything you wanted to around there. I was looking for some silver and I didn't find any, but I kind of found this honeycomb kind of ribbon. I had a piece of it. Don't be afraid to take things off of other things. If you get a beautiful package and it has this great bow on it, who says you can't use that for something like this? So I'm now just tying this all together with a red bow. That's really just going to help put that together. And I didn't want my bow so big that it took over anything else, so I just did 2 loops on it, and I just tied that again with my pipe cleaner, and I'm probably going to come back and trim those off right there. I think those are too long and I don't really want them dragging. So let's just go ahead and do that. if your wire pops out on your wire in bows, I never do anything that doesn't have a wire in it because you can't shape it. If it goes flat, it's flat. So I have sometimes revived it a little bit with a spray bottle in water, but that's kind of a long shot. Always have your ribbon, wire in your ribbon. It really makes it worth it. After the bow, the last thing I'm going to do is kind of add my topper and some fillers. And if you want to use glitter rope and kind of give them a whimsical feel and kind of finish them off that way, you can. But I think I'm going to go a little bit more with kind of a Christmassy type of fern. And I'm going to kind of just have that kind of coming out the top. I'll probably wire that in. And then I might even take some and tuck some or wire some in just a little bit here and there where I feel that I may have just some open areas. So I'm going to finish that up and I'll show you the results. So I finished putting him all together and we've got him plugged in with our little lights, and I put the floral in between. I just used one big bunch that I had. Again, it was something I got on clearance. And look how that even changed it that much differently. It kind of gave it more of a foresty feel. So you might like it better without it. You may like it better with it. Just make it your own and do what you really love. For more of the Miriam Joy videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube site so you can be one of the first to see them as they come out. I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you that were followers and viewers and have been wonderful to us this year. 2016 was a great year. 2017 is going to be even better. But thank you from Miriam Joy from the bottom of our heart. God bless.